Hello, my beautiful bumbles. It's me, the Julia Bee. Welcome back, or welcome into the channel if you're new. How are you today? How are things going? How's dad? He okay? His back all right? Hips okay? Everything good? Everything copacetic in your life? Good. Good to hear. Today, we are here to talk about the most anticipated read of 2025. At least it was for me. I'm sure it was for many girlies on the internet. And that was Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yardo. We have a lot to talk about today because I have a lot of things I need to fucking say. Okay. I have a lot in me that needs to be released. And if it is not released, then I may combust. So the way that this video is going to work is I am going to talk, there's going to be a vlog portion. Then I'm going to talk about the book in the end, give my final thoughts and my review that will be non-spoilers. And then there will be a spoiler section at the very end because I have a lot to say. Okay. I have a lot to say about Miss Onyx Storm. She has a lot of crimes that she needs to answer for. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Good morning, my stunning little bees. Good morning. It is not morning. It is... Okay, no. It's 11:44, which means it is still technically morning, but we're not going to discuss that it's almost noon. Today is a very phenomenal day. Do we know what today is? Today is the day that my copy of Onyx Storm comes in the mail. I'm so excited. So I've had it in Kindle form for since release day, 21st? Yeah, it's the 25th. I don't know what the date is, but I've had it, but I have been so obsessed with reading Veronica Speedwell, doing a reread. And because my husband's reading them with me, I'm have to eat them all up. So it's supposed to come in the mail today. It's the deluxe limited edition or whatever from Barnes & Noble. I'm very excited, but I was thinking, what better way to celebrate a book coming home to me than to go out and buy her more books? You know, she's got to be welcomed home with several other book siblings. You know, I'm freaking insane. It has been a while since I have been to Half Price Books because ever since we moved, it is a journey to get there. So I just was you know what? I want to go out today. The snow is melting. I'm very sad about it, but I want to go peruse a bookstore. I want to go see what's out there. I have not left my house in an age. So yeah, I'm going to put on my face because I'm definitely not going out like this. And I'm going to go to the store. So I will see you in just... the fact that fucking Half Price Books, I couldn't even get a lot of B-roll because y'all, it was fucking packed. I have never seen it that busy ever. And I don't know if it's because of Onyx Storm's release, because they had a sign on the door that was yes, we have Onyx Storm in stock. And I was oh, okay. So not for me. They had many copies of Onyx Storm in stock, and I think they had the deluxe edition too. I was y'all, but then also there were two So, okay, there was one signed copy of Grady Hendrix's new book, which is like something wayward. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. So there was only one copy left on the shelf and it was $25, and I was like, well, this is worth it. And then I went perusing the aisles, and some other guy, he had like another copy, and he's like, I've already read this book, but I'm buying this signed copy. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, that should tell you how good it is. And I was like, fuck yeah, okay. But yeah, I have never seen that half price books so fucking packed. I don't know if like the book talk girlies are doing the Lord's work with half price books, because I know they did with Barnes and Noble, but like, dang. If things look a little different, meaning me, it's because it's a completely different day from when I last talked to you. Do you want to guess what day it is? I don't think you want to know, because when I last talked to you, I was waiting for my copy of Onyx Storm to come in the mail. That was on Saturday. Just take a guess what fucking day it is. And it's finally here. It's Tuesday.
Bruh.
It's fucking Tuesday. I don't even know why I'm mad, but like, for real. But on another note, so I came home and my husband was like, hey, I think your copy of Onyx Storm is here, but also you have a present. I was like, a present? The fuck? What do you mean? And he was like, yeah, I got you something for Christmas, but it just got delivered. And I was like, what could it possibly be? What? Hello? If you don't know, which you probably don't, but Aragon is literally one of my favorite movies, and it is so underrated. And I have never actually read the book. I'm so spoiled, and we love to see it. Okay, so now we're here for the regularly scheduled content, which is... Holy shit. She's fucking stunning. She's also not as thick as I thought she was, but like, oof, we love to see it. Not to mention, let's just talk about that, like, my husband couldn't have planned this better if he fucking tried. Like, 2 dragon books in one day. I'm the most spoiled girl on the planet. Very happy that this is finally here, because I have already like started the vlog for this and it's like several days behind, but whatever. I don't know if I even... Okay, this sounds so stupid to say, but I'm not in the mood to read this now. Like, and I know that I have it on the Kindle edition and the audio edition, and I could have read it at any point before now, but I just don't think I'm in the mood to read it. I'm actually, shockingly, not in my fantasy era right now. So yeah, I was really hyped for this, to be honest with you. And I'm just not now. So that's a thing. So I don't know when I'm going to actually hit you back up that I've read this book. Maybe I'll read Aragon instead. Maybe I'll do that and make a vlog out of it. I don't know. Anyway, finally, she's home. She's here. She's stunning. She's Gorgiana. I'll let you know when I read her. All right, my darlings, I'm finally gonna read the book I said I was gonna read a fucking week ago, and that is Onyx Storm. Like, this vlog has been going on for a literal week. I've just been like filming B-roll, and I haven't actually touched this goddamn book. I just wasn't in the mood to like read it. And then I kind of realized, I was like, you know, I just want to go back and like read Iron Flame. So I started listening to the dramatized audio because, I'm gonna be honest, Iron Flame was a little boring. And so I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and look up like a plot synopsis. So I did. I looked up a plot synopsis, and now I feel ready to begin. I'm on chapter 4 right now, and I have like a couple things to say. Very like minor things, I guess. Violet is so fucking annoying. Oh my god. I don't remember her being this annoying. Maybe I just like tuned it out, but Violet is so fucking annoying. I cannot stand her. She just turned 21 in Iron Flame, so I believe that she is still either 21 or she's 22 now. I don't know about y'all, but I did not act like she did at 22 years old. Maybe I did, and I just like blacked it out, but she's an idiot. She's real dumb. The funny thing is, Xaden acts like his age, and he's like 24 or something. I forget how much older Xaden is. Honestly, he acts more mature for his age. And so it makes him very bearable and honestly very likable. But Violet, she acts like she's freaking like 16 years old. Like she'll be talking to someone, or what was the scene I just read? Like she was talking to Xaden and like someone came up and was like, okay, we gotta like go. And she just like, I don't even remember, like she gave him this weird answer. Or like when she's talking to Taryn, and I really like Taryn, he is growing on me. He's like, hey, you need to focus. And she's like, oh, you need to be quiet. And it's like, girl, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I think the only characters that I like in this freaking book are Taryn, Xaden, and Imogen. Because Imogen seems the mature out of all of them. Because there's even a moment where Imogen's like, oh yeah, telling them our secret was a real good idea, Violet. Because like literally they're, I think Rydick, he goes into the college and he like ices the door so they can't get in, and they're all like fighting to get in the door and like yelling at him. And Imogen's literally like looking at Violet like,
ideas come from people who have dumb brains.
Are you fucking kidding me? Rebecca Yarros, did you mean to write them so stupidly? Because this book is an adult book, girl. Like, why am I reading about people acting like they're 16 years old? It just makes no freaking sense to me, and I hate it. It would make sense if the dragons themselves were like written in the same, I don't know, maturity level as their writers, like almost like they're bonded with them from a certain age and they age with them, kind of like Aragon. You're telling me that I am to believe that these dragons, who literally will kill not their chosen, but they will literally kill people who aren't their chosen, because how dare they be in their presence? You're telling me that they let these immature little bitches write on them? Okay, I feel like I'll talk about it in like my wrap up of this book at the end, but I am not. I'm kind of not having a good time at the moment. Like, this is the freaking shit I'm talking about. And Darna is upset because Taryn's like, yeah, we might not be met with, like, happiness if we find, like, your kind. And she's like, you don't know that. And he's like, you're naive to assume otherwise. And he's telling her and Violet, like, you need to prepare yourselves. And he's like, this mission could kill us. And Violet's like, or it could save us all, freaking pessimist. And it's like, okay, Violet, like, yeah, okay, I guess he is, but he's also, like, being the only fucking logical person in this conversation, like, now. Like, seriously, get over yourself. Hello, welcome back to Julia's Bed Diaries. I'm gonna be very honest with everyone. I don't know if I want to keep reading this book. And I mean that very seriously. It is so dense. Like, and I don't mean dense like it's so, like, stunningly written and just executed so well that, like, I'm just struggling to follow. No, I mean, like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I have seen a lot of people say that. And then, like, a lot of people are, like, gaslighting those people. Like, yeah, well, it's not your fault if you don't understand what's going on because you didn't fucking reread Iron Flame. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I reread Iron Flame. read a plot recap, and I still don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm so sorry to Rebecca Yarros. I don't think this is well done. There is so much political shit happening right now. I will like disclaim that I'm not really one that follows political shit. I'm not a political girly, okay? In real life or in books. I don't follow like political jargon well. I don't follow like maneuvers and strategy and war theory. Like, I don't follow that crap very well, okay? Just tell me who I need to shoot and who I need to root for. And there's just a lot of words being thrown at me that I'm supposed to understand, and I just am not. And then again, like I mentioned this earlier in the previous clip, but like Xaden is, or Violet and Xaden are just in this weird, I don't even know what to call it. I feel like, this is just my opinion, I feel like that we really started Violet and Xaden's relationship too early. I don't know how many books this is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be 4 or 5 books. And I'm sorry, but their relationship should have been more slow burn than this. What I would have changed is I would have made Violet and Xaden not be together until this book. There's so many elements that just remind me of Hogwarts and Harry Potter and a little bit of the Hunger Games. And maybe a little bit of ACOTAR. There's a lot of concepts and a lot of moving pieces that don't fit together. It's like Rebecca had so many fucking ideas that she took from other works and just couldn't figure out how to mesh them all together to make a good book. Because this honestly is not good, y'all. I'm being so serious. A lot of Violet's inner thoughts really take any emotional depth out of the narrative. I struggle a lot with writing nowadays that focuses a lot on trying to sound like how people sound these days. I struggle with like trying to sound like the newer generation and how they talk, which is going to happen because that's just how life works, like how generations work. We're going to have to realize that the tone of generations changes. These days, I'm following all these like quirky, funny little characters and like that have like ADHD. It's just trying too hard to be like, oh, I'm so quirky and I'm just like, I'm not like other people because I'm just this way. We're doing a lot of like serious discussion. And if you want me to take the politics seriously, you would not have your main character be like, fucking pessimist, like in her head every 5 seconds. And I know like that Rebecca did not mean to write it like this. Like this, to me in a different context, this story would be so serious and like so powerful. And it's just not. It's just not, fam. Are we actually joking right now? Like, are we actually joking right now? It's taken 3 books to call a ceasefire on cadets being able to kill one another? I've been saying this since Fourth Wing that I did not fucking understand why they allowed the cadets to kill each other. Especially when, like, the infantry has to be conscripted, right? Like, they can conscript people into the military, but they don't conscript people into the Riders Quadrant because I guess it's such the most dangerous part of the military, so they don't want to conscript people because, like, the dragons aren't going to want people there that don't want to be there, basically. Now we're going to call a ceasefire on killing cadets. That's all well and good, because that makes sense given the current state of affairs. But where was this thinking 3 books ago? Not only that, but I still want to point out that Violet and Xaden are being insufferably annoying. And I just got to a part where Violet says, I miss you. And Xaden's like, same.
I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that, but I just heard that.
What? I'm sorry, are we in the year 2025 modern day, or are we in fucking year whatever it is in an epic fantasy novel? Is it epic fantasy? Whatever. You know what I mean? What? And not only does she say that, but then literally a page, like flip the page, a page later, Xaden says, I miss you. And Violet's like, same. What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? The word irid, I'm not going to say what it is, but the word irid pops up. And I just want you to take a second. And I'm sure that even if you've got a pea brain, it'll come to you what that means. But it takes someone like saying it out loud for it to be confirmed. But it's like, oh yeah, haha, like that's so dumb. Why would you have to say that out loud? Like, of course that's what it means. Honestly, of course that's what it means. Bruh. Yeah, I'm officially to the point where I'm not having a good time.
Lou, what you doing?
Tallulah. Tallulah.
Oh, there's a bug.
Oh, okay.
She's staring at.
Good morning. It is, well, it is early. It is 8 in the morning. And I'm not usually up this early, but I have a lot to do today. I have to set up my walking pad, set up my new camera, and also get ready to go out to dinner with some friends. So I have a lot to do today. And I kind of want to clean up the house a little bit. But I was popping in to let you know I haven't read much more of, I almost said Fourth Wing, of Onyx Storm. I'm on chapter 44. Things are picking up. Things are picking up. Things are getting better. Will it negate the last literal 70% of the book, or the first 70% of the book? No. No, it will not. When I tell you that the first, I'm going to say like 60% of this book is awful. I'm not even joking you. It's like we just didn't know what we were supposed to be doing, and we spent a lot of time talking about it, not enough time doing it, and also a lot of time fighting each other about it instead of just listening to who really should be in charge of all this, which is Violet. Not to mention that, again, Violet and Xaden's relationship right now is just so bad. And it's not even bad because of the circumstances or what are going on. It's just poorly written. Because these are problems that they should have been having like in the beginning of their relationship. And they're still having the same fucking problems. And it's really frustrating. Rebecca Yarros didn't want to like have anything really bad happen to them. But so she's just like stretching on this shit, and it's just becoming like unbearable at this point. Not to mention, like, I will give her flowers. She does it better than SJM as far as like killing people off, because people are dying left, right, and fucking center in this book. And I'm like, oh shit. And not just like minor people like she did in Fourth Wing, where it was like some character named John, four sentences down the page would fucking die. No, she's actually killing people off that you probably have an emotional attachment to.
Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh no. No, 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 no.
Just saying. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna eat some breakfast first. I'm gonna set up my walking pad, I'm gonna set up my new camera, and then I'm gonna get ready for dinner later, and I'm gonna clean up my house. Okay? I'll see you later. right, my beautiful bumbles. It has been a crazy fucking day. I've been so goddamn productive today. Like, who is she? Is the depressioning? Is it gone? I don't know, honey. I don't know. But she's serving cunt today. She is. She's serving cunt today. So, I have not read anymore. I have been working on my camera settings, and then I was editing a vlog, the moving vlog, and I have been, I was setting up my walking pad. And then I kind of just chilled for a little bit. I did have a thought that I had not thunketh earlier, which was, how is it Violet and like all of Basgaiath can just like fucking basically do what they want? Like, that's what it feels like anyway, except for the thing that they're supposed to be doing. I am really confused about this college because it really doesn't make any fucking sense when you really think about it. So I said in my fourth fling vlog that the first years and the second years and the third years, they're all mixed in with these classes, okay? They're all learning the same thing, especially in the battle brief class, because battle brief is literally battle brief, and they're talking about actual battles that have happened or like even within the last day or so. So like everyone needs, I guess, to know those. Which that's fine, but like in other classes, it seems like they're mixed in with everyone. And also for graduation, so this was my complaint in Fourth Wing / Iron Flame, is that when they graduated, it literally was like, okay, so from this point forward, first years are second years, and second years are third years, and third years have fucked off. Like it says they get, I think, a couple days off, and then they're like their new positions. But I'm kind of like, why don't they get leave? Why don't they get time to like go see their families? Is anyone else not bothered by that? I'm so confused about the way this college runs. And now, like in this book, because of the state of the world and the state of events, they definitely are all mixed in. First years, second years, and third years are basically treated the same because first years are still able to go out on these missions because they're going out on these missions. Because this reminds me so much of Harry Potter. When I think of a first year, I'm thinking of little baby Harry Potter when he fucking started his first year of Hogwarts. When realistically, these people are like in their early fucking 20s. What? And we're treating them like they're 6. This is what I'm saying. I just feel like Rebecca Yarros was just trying to write a Dragon Rider Academy Hogwarts, okay? And the age of all these characters was supposed to be vastly different. It bugs me so much because the way that everyone is treated, the way that they have to show like no empathy, no remorse, like no feelings at all, and yet they're not children. They are adults, but then they act like fucking children. And again, Rydick says, he's like, just because I make jokes doesn't mean I'm not fucking listening and that I don't care. And I'm like, all right, Rydick, I get it. But all of you are acting like fucking children. Like, you don't act like that your frontal lobe is developed. I don't understand. I can't take you seriously. None of them. I don't know. But yeah, the dynamics of the War College are just, they're a little bizarre. What do you think, Josh? So I was just out for dinner. Wasn't gone maybe about 2 hours, maybe a bit more. Come home to this. That is supposed to be up against the wall and turned. I wonder who did that. Oh my god, y'all, I had such an amazing evening. It is 7 o'clock. I left here around like 4. I had amazing meat. I had bottomless mimosas. Girl, so if your girl is like a little it's because mimosa time. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Actually, I hate that saying. Drink whatever the fuck you please. I did go have dinner and then I had to go to Target because I needed some makeup wipes. Otherwise, this is staying on forever. But, oh my god, I have been looking for this book for literal months because I've heard that it's like, so the first book is supposed to be like, it's okay, it's good. And the first book is on my TBR for the year. But the second book is said to be like top notch. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to read the first book, I need to have like the second book on standby because I might be salivating for it. Heartless by Elsie Silver. Fucking found it. When I tell you that every time I go, which I'm not like going to a bookstore or anything, I'm just going to like Walmart or Kroger or whatever, but I can never find this fucking book. And so I was in a different Target today that's like half an hour from me, and I fucking found it. And I was like, girl, because one of my friends, she has a Target red card, and I was like, girl, putting a number. I want to get the percentage off of this. So that means I have to fucking start Flawless this year. I have to. Maybe I'll read it after I finish Onyx Storm, but I actually think I have found a cool new way to get out of a reading slump, because I know Onyx Storm is going to put me in a reading slump, is to read like short books or thrillers. So I might either read a Warrior Cats book, because those are on my TBR, or I'll pick up a thriller. And the thriller I'm thinking of is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, because it's also on my list. Look at me. Look at my big brain. Look at it. I almost dropped her. I need to go and settle in. I need to make sure that my moving vlog is done exporting so I can upload it. I need to finish Onyx Storm because this fucking vlog has been going on forever. But yeah, I'm gonna go settle in. I'm gonna go get my Kindle because I'm not walking on my walking pad with my big fucking book. But I also need to deep condition my hair. So I might deep condition my hair, and I will probably do my vlog stuff and then jump on my walking pad. Because if I get on my walking pad, maybe it'll help me go to sleep because I'll be moving. Look at me. Look at me thinking in my little noggin. Anyway, I will hit you back up when I have done fucking something. Y'all, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I've been crying. What is happening here? What's that? Why is that doing that? Oh, because I fucking finished this goddamn book. I would say that it finished me, but that would be a lie, because usually when you use the term "it finished me," it means in a good way. It means like when your man finishes you just right. You know what I'm saying? This did not finish me like my man finishes me just right. This finished me in a way that I want to go yeet myself off a fucking bridge. I will probably do a full wrap up tomorrow, because I literally cannot think clearly right now. I guess some things to contemplate are, what the fuck was that? What was that? What was that? What was that ending? Yeah, I'll probably have to do a full wrap up tomorrow, because my thoughts are not with me right now. The force is not with me, fam. I don't even know what I'm going to rate this, because I've been verging on 2.75 and 3 stars. This was not good. It's not good at all. Yeah. Yeah, we all just watch that? Did we all just watch that happen? Because yeah. I just feel like as a collective, we were robbed, okay? I feel like as a collective, we were lied to. I feel like as a collective, we ride at dawn, okay? So here we are again. You have now seen my thoughts, my feelings about this book, and now let's talk about it. So like I said in the intro, we are going to talk about this book from doing no spoiler section for my final thoughts, and then we will go to the spoiler section, and of course I will have it listed on the screen. But yeah, we're gonna dive into it. I do have some notes here, so if I'm like looking to remind myself what I need to talk about, because I have ADHD, okay? And I'm sure my fellow ADHDers, my fellow neurodivergents, will know what this is like. But for my neurotypicals, I need to have notes, okay? Or else this review is over before it's even begun, because I'm not going to remember jack shit, okay? So let's just not be rude to one another. Let's just agree to disagree about how brains should work, and let's get into the review. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear actually before we go into the review at all, which I feel like I shouldn't have to make this clear, but I'm going to, because there are some people on the internet that have subpar intelligence, okay? There are some people on the internet that just love to come into the comment section and write little nasty things because they don't agree with what you're saying. And I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart that I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't give a fuck if you loved this book because clearly I did not. So let's both agree to disagree and you can just move on with your life and I'm gonna move on with mine and I'm gonna rant about this book. So if you are offended by anything that I say in this video, just click off, baby. Just click off of it, okay? Because it's not gonna get any better, okay? I am gonna be rude. I'm probably going to just be filthy because that's who I am as a person. Okay, if you do not like anything I have to say, if you are sucking this book's dick, I love that for you because I wanted to be that person. I wanted to love this book because I did actually like maybe is a strong word. I did actually get through the first 2 books and didn't have necessarily a horrible time. I love you if you love this book, genuinely. Be free with that, and I hope you enjoy the next book. But that's not what I'm here for, okay? Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the review. She had potential, y'all. She had potential to be a really gripping, phenomenal entry into the series. With Iron Flame being such a letdown that it was, and Fourth Wing being, I've always said, it is not the best thing that I ever fucking read, and it certainly was not the worst. It was just in the middle, okay? It was subpar, but it was a little bit above the trash can. It was a little bit above hell, okay? So this book had every opportunity to be amazing, to blow my socks off. It had the potential to be so enthralling that I was actually salivating for the next book. And honey, I'm here to tell you that she did not accomplish any of that. None of that happened with this book. So let's just talk about it. This book genuinely, it was just a tedious cycle, okay? I felt like it was a tedious cycle of just dragging me through political machinations, through plot lines that didn't make any sense, through quests that led nowhere, through a romance that was just... Yikes. Like, what even was that? And then all to end at an ending that, I'm sorry, what was that? What was that? I don't understand. There were moments that sparked genuine emotion for me, and trust me, I was crying. Like, there were little tearies coming out of my little eyeballs. But for most of it, I just felt no emotion whatsoever for any of these characters. In fact, I think the emotion that I felt was I wanted to take an ice pick and stab every one of them in their fucking eyeballs. Xaden and Violet's relationship, frankly, was exhausting. They spent the entire book fighting. Like, they would fight, and then they would fuck, and then they would fight some more, and then fuck some more. And it just became... I felt like I was reading Touch of Darkness again, or Touch of Ruin, or Game of Fate. Like, I just felt like that we were doing a lot of arguing over the same thing, and then fucking our feelings away, and then arguing about the same thing again.
And speaking of red flags...
Which is not good for anyone. Like, not only did they feel repetitive, they just felt baseless. Like, Xaden in this book was doing a lot of telling Violet no, because he just didn't feel like it was safe for him to tell her yes. And so it was just like, we were just left with this feeling of like, you are not backing up what you're saying with any willpower whatsoever. If you truly are going to like do this back and forth, at least give me a modicum of respect to say that like, I'm going to root for you to actually hold to that. Because baby, you're not showing me any of that. So much of this book was spent talking about doing things, talking about going on a quest for Andarna's kind, talking about like political movements that instead of actually doing them, instead of showing me why any of this mattered, it just spent a lot of time telling me why I should care about this, why that this needed to happen, instead of showing me. And then when it did show me, it was the most disjointed shit I've ever read. Violet, despite being bonded to not 1, but 2 dragons, is persistently and consistently ridiculed, disrespected, criticized, and punished for trying to do something. when all of this revolves around her and Xaden and their dragons. But yet somehow leadership just believes that like they can circumnavigate around these four and not involve them in any particular way. It just gets so tiring because constantly Violet is having to fight and say the same point, which we all know, that Taryn and Scale cannot be separated, which truly you would think is not that important, but it is such a minor thing that everyone just seems to fucking forget, even though it is made explicitly clear that this is a big deal. And she's having to argue this one little point over and over and over again and sliding it in to like enunciate that like what she's saying matters, when in all reality everything she's saying matters. So instead of seeing her grow into her role as a dragon rider, as a lightning wielder, you know, as Taryn's rider, like we just spent time listening to political schemes and machinations, which by the way, which we'll get to, did anyone else fucking feel like that they had no idea what was going on with the political stuff? Did anyone else feel like that they came fresh off of Iron Flame and still had no fucking idea what was happening? Just me? No? Okay. Not to mention that if I had to hear one more time that Xaden was the hottest tawny man and that his muscles were rippling and he was just so attractive in the middle of serious fucking conversations, in the middle of serious battles, one more fucking time, like I haven't heard it 1,000 times already, I think I was gonna throw up. One of the most frustrating aspects of this book was the complete lack of emotional depth and empathy. So people were dying left and right, and I will give Rebecca Yarros her flowers. She was killing off people, though some of them I guess you could argue like, what? Do they even matter? But I will give her flowers. It's something SJM has never been good at, and I hate to compare authors, but Rebecca Yarros will kill people off with no shame. And I really do respect her for that, because that's something that I wish a lot more people felt like had the balls to do, because that makes a good story when you are willing to kill someone off, even if it is a minor-ish or a side character. You killed them off. And I'm gonna tell you, some of the deaths, I was tearing up. I was like, oh shit, like I don't know who the fuck you were, but oh shit, just that kind of feeling. But people were dying left and right, but yet no one is showing any emotion about them dying. Like it's just all like, oh, he's dead. Hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? It just was this disconnect that I just was not understanding. And I understand they're in a war, and maybe this is just a fault of her writing, because I'm gonna be honest, her writing was not that good. It just felt like that though they're in a war and they have to like pick up their emotions off the fucking floor and handle it, that the grief then would come 100 pages later out of nowhere, last for like 2.5 seconds. And then we were back to being bad bitches again. And I'm just like, can we just have like a moment where we take a second and go, damn, this is fucked, before we move on to like the next thing? I just feel like that this book, it just felt really disjointed and hollow, and it really could have been a phenomenal third book about the war finally like taking place, finally happening. And it did not feel that way. I felt no emotional depth, and there were too many moments where I was pulled out of the narrative, because either we were slowing it down with stupid fucking comments about how Xaden was so hot, or we were slowing it down with weird like subtext or like Violet's inner monologue about like how something was like rude, or oh my god, he's being such a fucking pessimist, or oh my god, I'm gonna have to remember like this later, because it just shit like that. Not only that, but like the sentence structure and shit just didn't make any sense. But we'll get to that. And then there is Taryn and Violet, and I've said this before, I actually really love the bond between Violet and Taryn. The dragons themselves, I don't know how Rebecca Yarros did it, but she made dragons boring.
What?
Girl, it's a dragon romance, and the dragons are boring? The fuck are you talking about? But I feel like we were missing a lot of the bond between Taryn and Violet. I would have loved less Xaden and Violet, because it was just a mess. And I would have loved more Taryn and Violet, because there were moments where he actually showed like care and compassion for her that we have never seen. And I was like, damn, I want more of that, because it was gone in like a second. It like lasted 2 seconds. And I just wish that we could have seen more of those two bonding and getting to know each other and having actual conversations than her and Taryn just being like bickering little old biddies over and over and over again, which I get is like the dragon's personality, but like also why is it the dragon's personality? It makes no sense. They're supposed to be these regal, magical, powerful creatures, and they all act like they're just old fuddies. Finally, the ending. We'll talk about more in the spoiler section, but that ending, without spoiling anything, it felt rushed. It felt unsatisfying, even though this book took forever to get to the fucking ending. This was 500 damn pages. This book, it had a very unsatisfying ending. It felt rushed in the end, and it just felt like we did all of this work. We talked about all these things for it to lead to nowhere. And instead of delivering a powerful, well-earned moment, it just fell flat. It actually left me just being like, huh? And not in a good way of huh. It was like a huh of like, wait, I read all this shit for this? What the hell do you mean? The book had glimmers of brilliance. It had glimmers of real depth. It had glimmers of like, again, stuff that made me cry. It was buried underneath mountains of poor pacing and frustrating characters and their backstories and overabundance of political filler. I wanted to love this book, but instead I found myself slogging through it. Like, I remember telling my husband that in the first 27%, I said at 27%, I was like, I'm DNFing this book. I can't do it. It's literally like my skin is crawling. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not only bored, but I'm so frustrated that I want to launch it into the wall. And then to get to the end and to see that there is no payoff whatsoever for anything that we just did, I shut my book. And to say that I launched it across the room is probably an overstatement because that's an exaggeration. But I will say that I like kind of just like tossed it off of my bed because I was so angry. I was left with like this, what the fuck did I read this for? Why did I spend, how many days did I read this book? So in the end, I gave this book, I originally gave it 3 stars and then I bumped it down to 2.75, and I actually think I'm going to bump it down to just 2 stars. It just was not worth it, fam. I'm gonna be very honest, without spoiling anything, you honestly could read Iron Flame and then skip Onyx Storm and go into whatever the hell the next book is. Because when I tell you that literally this book was just Iron Flame part 2, I'm not even exaggerating. I didn't like it. I hated it. I don't. If you are wanting to spend your money on this book, wait until it's like on sale or something. Get it secondhand. This is not a good book. Rebecca Yarros is known for writing romances, military romances. She has never written a fantasy before, and it shows. Because this woman has no idea how to take this story any farther. She has no idea how to develop these characters properly. And she just honestly has no idea how to write fantasy or world build. I mean, the world building, I didn't even talk about the world building. It's like God fucking stopped on the 3rd day and said, yeah, I think that's good. And then like had all these plans and did not see any of them to fruition. Like, the world building is ridiculous. And it's not even that it's dense like Crescent City. It's just non-existent. But yet she throws all this stuff in there at you that I feel like you should know by the 3rd book, and we don't. And it's just not ever really explained. That is the basis of my review. That I feel like that's as far as I can go without giving away spoilers. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to click off now, we're going to go into the spoiler part next, but I really appreciate you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. I will have more vlogs coming. Now, on to the rant. All right, kids, this is the part of the video where I'm probably going to be ranting a lot, and I feel like I'm going to try to make this as cohesive as possible and make it make sense, but I cannot promise anything. Once again, a reminder, if you love this book, I love that for you, but this is where I'm about to get mean. So here we go. All right, first of all, let's start off with the writing because it is the first thing on my mind. Actually, the first thing on my mind is the ending, but I want to save that for last because I have so many things to say and I'm angry. Also, if you can hear my animals outside my door, they're just wrestling. Don't mind them. They're fine. Okay? Promise. You might hear some growling. I promise you, they're fine. So, did anyone else come off of reading Iron Flame, jump into this book, read the first like 10 pages and just go, huh? Because that's the fuck I did, I was reading the first chapter of this book, and I sat back and I was like, did I miss something? Am I missing something? Because I feel like I am. Guys, when I tell you, so a lot of people in the book community have been talking about this, and some people have been gaslighting other people about it, which is that people coming out of that did not read Iron Flame. They are gaslighting them like, oh my god, you didn't read Iron Flame, so of course you're not going to know what's going on. No, bitch, I reread Iron Flame. I finished Iron Flame 2 days before starting Onyx Storm, and I watched a recap, and I read a recap online. And I still had fucking no idea what was going on. Rebecca Yarros I have a sneaking suspicion that either this was supposed to be like the 4th book, or I just don't think she knew how to end Iron. This feels like, to be honest, this feels like this book was supposed to be in Iron Flame, and it was cut. It did not feel like its own book. It felt like a retelling of Iron Flame. And that's where we'll come to the ending eventually. But yeah, Rebecca, she would name drop characters, places, gods, events, political things, treaties, alliances. She would name drop all of this shit onto the page and then just back away slowly, because we had never heard of this before. And I know we haven't, because I went back and checked. I fact-checked so much because I was so damn confused. Why was every page filled with all of these people? It was almost like Fourth Wing all over again, where a character named John would be on the page for like 5 seconds, and then because his name was like John, he would die by dragonfire or something, and then we would never see him again. And he wasn't even relevant. That's what this book felt like. Also, because of this, did anyone else feel like that some of the sentences didn't make sense? And I wish I had examples. See, I told myself I was prepared, but I'm not as prepared as I thought. I'm sure Rachel Reeds will have a better plot breakdown of this. Why is it that I feel like that some of the sentences didn't make sense? Like, I kept rereading page, and I don't do this, y'all know, because I read super quick. Why did I feel like that I had to reread some lines like 4 or 5 times because they didn't make sense? Like, not only just from an editing standpoint, but from a standpoint of, like, I just don't know if anyone would have caught it because it was so dense. And it was always in the middle of, like, info dumping or political dumping or whatever. Shit just didn't make sense. Like, the vocabulary that was used. Oh, the vocabulary that was used. So, I know I talked about this in the vlog, and I can't remember from Iron Flame or even Fourth Wing if the months, like January, February, March, were in those books. But did anyone else get pulled out of the narrative because the months were named the months? Because I feel like in a fantasy novel, we never have months named January, February, March. We have months like New Leaf, or we have months like Frostbane or something. Like, or even it's like Baltina, Lucina, Samhain. Like, things like that that feel mystical, fantastical. Like, does that make sense? I was pulled out of the narrative so many times for stuff like that. Also, I was pulled out of the narrative because the term well the fuck aware was used more times in the narrative than it ever should have been in life, period. Also, the word same. What are you talking about? Like, Zayn would be like, oh my god, Violet, I missed you. And she'd be like, same. What? And then a page later, literally, page flip, Violet's like, oh, Zayden, I missed your hands. And he's like, same.
It's fucking disgusting.
What are you talking about? Are we in the year 2025 modern age, or are we in the year of whatever the fuck it is in a fantasy novel? What do you mean? Same. When I tell you that it happened 3 more times, I'm not exaggerating. Someone go to their Kindle and just type same. You'll find it. You'll find it. And well the fuck aware. Let me know how many there are. It's ridiculous. The writing doesn't make any sense because, once again, Rebecca Yarros is not a fantasy writer. She is a military romance writer. And that's all well and good. Her and Colleen Hoover can go be best fucking butt buddies. But here in the fantasy world, we don't want any of that. Get out of here with that. Like I said, if I had to hear one more fucking time that Xaden was so hot, so beautiful, so whatever, I think I was gonna throw up. Oh, and irid for iridescent. Rebecca Yarros, please give me an ounce. Give me something. Give me a dash of fucking creativity. Please give me an ounce of care. Like, what do you mean that Andarna's breed is an irid for iridescent? And it takes Riddick saying that to the rest of the squad being like, huh, do you think it's short for iridescent? And they're all like, yes. And I'm like, no, you know what, Riddick? I'm with you because honestly, I was hoping to the goddess that it was not short for iridescent. All right, let's talk about the plot because that's probably what you all are here for, is just to know how bad the plot has become. And I'm here to tell you that it's gotten pretty bad. So here's my problem with the plot. And what upsets me the most is that I actually really liked the plot. I really liked the plot of Fourth Wing, though I had my problems with it, don't get me wrong. And I did kind of enjoy the plot of Iron Flame. But if we're talking about the plot overall, okay, if we're talking about the overall storyline of this series, I actually don't mind it. I actually think it's pretty good. I'm not really big into political plots, but I feel like a lot of people really would have liked this. And if it had the proper elements in it, I feel like I could have forgiven a lot of this stuff, because I always say that I'm such a forgiving reader. I can forgive bad plot, bad characters, bad smut, bad writing, you know, all of those things. If you give me something in any of those categories to hold on to, just anything. But if I have nothing to hold on to, then I'm going to hate your fucking book. And that's what I think is so disappointing, is that this series had so much potential. I mean, it had the potential to be one of the greatest dragon rider series in this generation, and it's just not. And of course, no one's going to be able to write it, not that they can't write it better, but no one's going to be able to take this series, rewrite it without it being close to copyright infringement to make it better. So it's like we all got to read the fan fiction, I guess. And that's what's so upsetting, is that fan fiction is going to have to be what fixes this. I said it. Book 1 thrived because Rebecca Yarros had that romance to develop. She had Violet and Xaden's relationship to work with, and then the bond with Taryn and Violet and Andarna to work with, because she's a new writer. And Violet has a lot of backstory and misbelief and character development available to her in the first book. Now, what does she have? She's proven herself as a writer. Her and Xaden's fucking relationship is on lock, I guess. Her and Andarna and her and Taryn are bonded and doing well together. Like, what else is there to expound upon? I feel like Violet and Xaden's relationship started way too quickly. I do not believe that it should have started in in Fourth Wing. I think that Violet and Xaden should have started out as enemies in Fourth Wing, with kind of like a developing, budding little, like, not necessarily romance, but maybe just kind of like, okay, respect, like mutual respect should have been where it started, to get to almost like a tentative friendship level when we get to Iron Flame. Then in Iron Flame, we go through that book and they start to catch feelings. They start to kind of respect each other more, get to know each other more. And then maybe like near the end of the book, they kind of cross into that line. There's a kiss that happens, or the sex, or whatever you want. And then we get that reveal that Xaden turned Venom. And then this book should have been where Violet and Xaden have to fight and decide whether they are going to be together, and whether or not their relationship can withstand what's happening. That would have made for a better fucking story. Instead, we have them fucking in the first book. The second book is all about, oh, will they, won't they? Can Violet trust him? Even though she forgives him literally several chapters in. It's almost the equivalent of Bryce and Hunt in House of Flame and Shadow, where their relationship is so established at this point that honestly, Rebecca's not writing anything that gives me any indication that she's going to break them up. She tries. Oh, lordy, does she try. I don't know why, but in this book, she threw in a Dane possible love interest again, with Violet, or at least something was simmering there. And then she throws in Halden, because Violet and Halden had a freaking relationship when she was like 18 years old, which I forget that Violet is fucking 22 in this book because she certainly doesn't act like it. It's just, she was throwing in unnecessary drama for the sake of drama when we all know that Violet and Xaden are endgame. And so it doesn't give us any stakes to go off of that there's anything going to happen to their relationship unless one of them dies. And at the end of this book, they get fucking married. They're married. Somehow, someway. I don't know if Violet knows that or not because Imogen took her memories, but like, huh? So let's talk about the Venom storyline then. Let's talk about Xaden being a Venom, okay? Anyone who's finished this book, does it just feel like to you that we're at the end of Iron Flame again? Because it does to me. What was all of this for? Why did I read this 500-page book just to get to the ending and be exactly where I was at the beginning of the book? All we're doing throughout this entire book is Xaden's like, oh God, I'm turning and I'm bad and I'm evil. Violet, you should run. You should stay away from me. And Violet's like, no, I'm not going to fucking stay away from you because I'm a dumb bitch. I'm going to help you, Xaden. I'm going to protect you. And it's just like this battle throughout the whole book for them to be together. And I'm like, okay. But then we get to the end of the book. And I feel like, what was the point of all of this? Like, from start to finish, Xaden is basically fine. He draws power here and there. You know, he sucks up the magic from the earth here and there a little bit. And then he's fine. He's got a little red in his eyeballs, but he's fine. He's okay. He fucks Violet now and again, and he pulls magic out of the headboard, but he's fine. No worries. What? Like, Rebecca Yarros, are you a vegan? Because I don't see any stakes on the table of this book. None whatsoever. I would also argue that this whole entire Venom storyline has just made Xaden edgier, but by edgier I mean just whinier and more jealous and codependent on Violet, even though he wants her to stay away from him. Which in itself is, I guess, whatever, but it's just so annoying. It is so annoying to constantly hear himself self-deprecate when he's supposed to be this edgy, dark guy with no feelings, but yet he's whining and bitching at every other interval. I'm like, how does Scale put up with you? Oh, wait, that's right. She's not talking to you, probably because you're an insufferable little bitch. I can't. I do not understand what the point of him becoming Venom was, except to get us to the end of Iron Flame. And now it's like Rebecca Yarros didn't even want to do that. So she was trying to write us out of this hole that we were in. And she just didn't do that. Instead, she deepened the hole. We're in hell now. So let's just talk about the ending because I feel like it's going to come up a lot more. And I've already said some things about it. But the ending. Beginning of the book, Violet and Imogen are talking about something. Talking about Xaden, I guess. And they're talking about how there are fail-safes in place in case Xaden does turn and what they're going to do. And a lot of them are like, Xaden, don't sleep in the same room with him, and blah, 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 and she tells him to fuck off, whatever. But her and Imogen have their own plan. They also have serum or something, which was that in Iron Flame? Because I forget. Anyway, they have a lot of things in place, but it seems like Imogen and Violet are kind of pulling a Bryce Quinlan and doing some stuff off the page a little bit, which I think was part of the confusing thing is Violet keeps talking about oh, Garrick's on this and Bodhi's on this and Imogen's doing this for me to keep an eye on Xaden. And I'm like, but what are they actually doing? It's never really explained. And though Xaden is in on it, there's also this aspect or this vibe that I felt like he wasn't in on it. I felt like he had no idea what Violet was doing. There's this big battle, and what ends up happening is Taryn and Scale are wounded, and they are caught, and then Violet is wounded. They killed the villain in this book, and I'm just kind of like, that was really easy to kill that villain, by the way, but whatever. Violet was passed out, and then we go to Xaden's POV, and he's talking to Scale, and Scale's like, you can't possibly mean to do this, and Xaden's like, oh, I have to, and she'll agree to it because she loves me. And she's like, well, I guess she's going to determine our fate. And then they leave. And then Violet wakes up 12 days later. 12 days? 12 hours. 12 hours later, sorry. And doesn't remember anything that happened, but she has a ring on her finger. She's got a little ring. And Brennan's like, where is Xaden, Violet? And Violet's like, what do you mean? I saw him at the battle. And she has these papers in her hand, which is the marriage certificate, because apparently they're married now. And she can't remember what happened. And she's like, it's almost like, and she turns to Imogen and she's like, what did you do? And Imogen's like, what you asked me to. And literally you flip the page and the book is over.
I think I done just got mad.
Listen, I would normally say that that's actually a bomb-ass way to end the book, because was I gooped and gagged? Yeah. But because of the suffering I had to go through this entire book, that ending left me with such a foul taste in my mouth that I could have spit venom. I know a lot of people were shitting on the end of Fourth Wing and like her finding Brennan, and they were like, what the hell? I actually really liked that ending. I thought that was really cool and well done. And then the ending of Iron Flame, yeah, okay. That cliffhanger was fine. This one? No. No, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, let's talk about Violet's second signet manifesting as being a dreamwalker. And then it's mentioned for like a paragraph, and then nothing comes of it. All this talk of her second signet, and that's what it is, and then that's what we get. Okay, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. It was actually really, really fun to make. This is actually one of my first vlogs of 2025, like filmed in 2025, read, done, and that I'm actually putting on the channel, because if you don't know, I started the channel finally in 2025 after filming all this shit since 2023. And I'm really proud of it. I'm very happy and I'm very excited. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. If you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys later. I'll be here all week, baby. I love you. Mwah. Bye.